3, we're back in business, all right? Now, we have a second resolution regarding district irrigation lot allocations.
No, it'd be resolved that the amount available to the city of El Paso is set at, I just said I was ready, at 20,738 acre feet under the 2001 implementing contract pursuant to section 9B.
Okay, so the number is 20,738 acre feet available to the city of El Paso.
You know, I don't know why that pursuant to 9B's in there. That's the total amount that's under the contract. I'd have to check to see if it's all under 9B. Is it net? Can we remove the pursuant to 9B?
Don't be specific.
I know, why do we are so specific?
Yeah, just preserve your contract.
For the contract,
Yeah, for the
implementing contract,
I do not.
period.
Okay, fair.
period.
All right.
Stop it, yeah.
One less thing for me to check.
Okay. All right, the resolution reads, I believe, and I will entertain a motion to this, resolve that the amount available to the city of El Paso is set at 20,738 acre feet under the 2001 implementing contract.
So moved.
Mike moves.
Mayor to approve.
Indar seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed signify by the same sign. Okay, motion passed. Now, I believe,
No, that's a different.
let's see if we can get through so these poor gentlemen can get back to work. Drain maintenance program. Good morning. What you know, Pete?
Okay, well, it's been a couple of months since I've seen you guys, so I'm gonna go through my pictures pretty fast. I'll try. If you guys got any questions, just ask me to stop and I can stop. Okay, but a couple of things that we've started our mowing program, being that you guys probably see now that Lengua de Vaca is coming up. So we got all the boom mowers out of the field already, and we're hoping to get the flails out by this Monday, this coming Monday. So you should see all the mowers out there. Unfortunately, that means I gotta take men from other crews to put them on little machines, so.
They will, what's that woody plant,
I don't know what that's called. Yeah, that real tall one?
yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
It's real bad this year.
So, you know, it seems that the Unit 8 and Unit 9 area are the worst. I was up in Unit 6. Unit 6 is barely starting to come up, but starting Monday, I'm gonna have a machine up there also.
Look at my pecan crop. I wish.
Okay, I don't know what happened here.
I don't know either.
Does that
1
you
acre, 1 acre
Boss
pecan.
Salt bush. Those are on your.
That's a big salt bush, isn't it?
Big salt cedar.
But you know, it never fails. It seems that once we start seeing a little bit of sunlight, something else happens. We had a flume fail here on Monday. We had a head wall collapse on Monday. One of the headings hitting the mud, the wall just fell off. Casey Rogers was watering on the feeder.
I'm still in Windows 7, so he's gonna have to come.
And,
And his.
Or you're moving it, well, I'm
Yeah, I'm
moving it
moving
here.
over here. I just need
Well,
to.
you're moving it over here too.
there's the expert right there.
No, that's his computer.
And you gotta watch out for John Cook's little animals.
Who's that? Oh,
And
yes.
he's got the mouse,
Yes.
so as I'm moving the mouse, he's moving the
No, I'm with the mouse here.
I know, I can't move it over here. I'm trying to get it to display,
Here,
so.
for the mouse.
No, just still moving. I got a mouse over here.
Relax now.
I was gonna go get Jay.
One of the things that we've been trying to do is been trying to target more of our delivery system here lately, trying to get ready for our release. You know, so we should be ready whenever you guys are ready, whenever you set the date.
We're gonna go discuss that, but it's looking like you know, the date you're, just to get.
We've replaced a culvert already for the city of Socorro. We've got to replace another one, and I just got word that on the Franklin drain by Red Road, we have another road that's collapsing, and one up the valley by Red Road also. So there's
Drains, both of them?
no, they're actually delivery system. The one on the west side is the delivery system. The one down here, it is a drain. And the one in Socorro is also delivery system. It's on Socorro now. But I'm hoping to get those done here within the next month. So we should be good. We should be good. On the railroad, all the crossings in the Unit 8 area have been completed. Everything is done. There's a community ditch here
There you go.
that we really didn't do anything to it. Railroad went in there, they put their pipe in, and we asked them if they wanted us to do anything. They pretty much walked away from it, right, Jim?
I'm sorry, one thing.
On the Williams community ditch,
Williams Community Ditch?
we're not doing anything there.
Nope, we're finished.
Okay, but this is just some of the projects that we've been doing. I apologize for having pictures on one end and a PowerPoint on the other one. I just have I think I got a picture that was formatted wrong, and for some reason, I couldn't put it in my PowerPoint, so.
What is that, and what is that?
This is the Riverside Canal.
Parallel to each other?
This is the Riverside Canal. This is the border fence.
Right.
This is the area that's supposed to be maintained by
Border Patrol?
by Border Patrol. And so what we're doing is we're going in there and kind of taking care of the slopes, which is our
You
responsibility.
can't send them a bill?
Well, the slopes, I believe, they're our responsibility.
Right.
The tops belong to the Border Patrol.
Just on the south side.
Yeah. So once Robert puts water into this riverside, I need to make sure I got an excavator there at the I-0 checks to make sure I pick up all this debris. Because that's all I'm gonna do down there. And then we continue with removal of soil and actually building up some of our ditch banks, some of our concrete line ditches. And here, this is the Socorro. This is an area where we can't afford to put dirt on top of the bank anymore. So every time we dig it out, we gotta remove it, which is a lengthy process. And that's after we completed that removal of that dirt. Some picture. Some of our drains, we continue working on our drains with our waters, and we've got a couple of excavators working on drains, and I've got a couple of excavators working on our delivery system. This is the Socorro. Actually, the Socorro here, I needed that dirt further upstream, so I removed it from the downstream side and just brought it up to the, closer to the head. This is down there by the 206. See, so. This is the 154. 154 has always been a little problem area, so we almost have to go out there and do maintenance to it every year. So this is kind of what it looks like after we're completed with it. And then this bank here had never been actually maintained or traveled by us because of the trees that were there. And you'll see what I mean by we can't get in there to do any kind of maintenance. But we've got in there, we've redone the bank, we removed some of the trees, some of the stumps are still there. Once they run out, we'll go in there and remove them. This is right here on the side, it's not just upstream from FM 1110. That's what it looks like after we were done.
Nice.
So at least we can get through there now.
Peeled all the shape.
Yeah, that's the hill I was just mentioning a few minutes ago, that it just fell off the pipe. That's the heading of the ladder.
There's a fire.
There's the pipe, and there's the fix that we've got in there, we brought in a new head wall. Cement collar, and should be ready by today.
We're done. I'll get it ready.
Okay.
You're not supposed to use a real mouse.
Yeah, I know.
I heard it.
I'll get it.
Yeah, those all look nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through these pictures pretty fast. This is all basically what you see as far as construction. This is basically the same construction that went to all the crossings.
Okay.
This is the Clinton lateral.
How's it flow, Robert, across that now?
They're great template out.
Passes the trash pretty good too?
Yeah.
Just pick anywhere. If you pick in the middle, you just pick anywhere.
Okay. Okay.
So what?
That's the, right there, right by the ammonia tank by the Con Association. And then that's the Francis Crossing. This turnout here, this is pretty much complete. The only thing we need to do here is tie into the community ditch, but we ran into a little snag here where Mr. Harvey Hilly has part of that property, and then the railroad has some part of that property, and neither one of the two has actually given me permission to go in there and tie into the community ditch. The community ditch is right there, behind that big tree there. So what I've done is I've put my turnout in, gone to the edge of our right of way until I get some type of, something from them to do the tie-in. It's something that's going on between Harvey Hilly and, the railroad. They claim they both own that property, so I know I don't own it, so we're staying out for now.
Okay.
This is over by the Francis. This is one of the turnouts that we just embedded inside the head wall. And we kind of had to put a 45 in there because of that big tree right there that you see on the right-hand side. It's a humongous tree that's inside Francis property. That's on the upstream side. This is over by Mr. Ivy, by Kevin Ivy. Again, this is the Francis, and you can see the tree there a little bit more here. And there's the work and the tie-in that we did. This location here is the only one we actually had to use the pumper because we couldn't get to the structure. Over right on the other side, there's a track and there's a community ditch. And it was gonna be more of a hassle to try to get our truck in there and try to keep the trains from going in for about 2 hours, which I don't think was gonna happen. So I went ahead and rented the pumper. We came in through the green side and we got it poured. That's the finished product there. This is the Clint. You know, to give it out, him and his crew did a great job of, transitioning back to the original canal.
You did great. I mean, these are all warped surfaces, so they're very hard to build. And I mean, as you can see on if you think of them like a racetrack, that's what the water's seeing. And I think Pete's just done a super job. It's a hard thing to do.
Hopefully we'll get a smooth and, free flow through there that won't cause any restrictions on it. That's the downstream side. This is actually over by the Francis. We had to build a box in order to get the water back to the original ditch because of the alignment. It was either have to put the pipe in at an angle, or I was going to have to go in there and put maybe a 72-inch lid on a 24-inch pipe just because of the angle. So what we decided to do, we decided to go ahead and build a box for it, and you'll see here in the next couple of pictures. That's a new turnout that went into the Salibran. The water user did pay for the turnout of the installation. And that's the finished product after we were done. I don't know what happened, Jay, but I lost a lot of pictures.
No, they're here, hold on.
Oh, so it wasn't my fault.
Searching.
But right now, we're working on the ISNA. We've poured the floor on the upstream side. They're building walls, which I think we should be able to pour by the end of this week. They've also poured the floor on the Darty upstream side. I also got a crew there building walls. We should be done by tomorrow. And then we ran into a little snag on the downstream side with the gas line that was there, and with Jay's help, the gas company's gonna go out there and remove that line. It's an abandoned line that was left in place. So they need to remove it in order for us to go in there and do build a head wall on
This is 93 of 109.
These are all 100 years. These are all designed at a 100-year life.
Done all these, right?
there. Yeah, I missed the first one, Jay.
The first ones?
Yeah. I don't know, I did something wrong up here.
Okay, going backward.
Yeah. It looks that way. Yeah, it looks like mine started backwards, actually.
Oh, okay. Let me get you the top.
There you go.
There we go.
That's the first one. Okay, that's the Socorro and Isla. We went in there and replaced that culvert there. That's one of the replacements that we had to do. We went in there and put a temporary pedestrian bridge. There's a elementary school just south of that. And people were actually going into the canal to try to get across and get their kids to school, so we went in there and put that temporary bridge for them. Here's the removal. Chusac, again, City of Socorro paid for all material for this. The road was closed for 1 week. And it's back into operation now. That's what the road looks like after we're done. Then we can still come in here and do the pavement. This for EO5R, this job has been completed also. And also, Mr. Rassich paid for all the material on this one. It's basically the same thing we did last year over by the Malone.
And what do you think the life is on that pipe? About 50 or 100?
We'll all be gone.
Okay. We don't need to worry about it. No need to worry about it. Okay.
I believe that the lifespan for that A2000 is what else, 75 years?
At
I think
least,
that's what
yeah,
they're-
nobody really knows. I mean, Miguel, have you ever heard of anybody else? They say that buried PVC and most
Yeah,
of that there's no age limit. That's pretty good.
And he also wanted these,
Thousands.
and he put gates, so these were ordered through Mechanical Associates.
They call it what, leak proof?
They're supposed to be leak proof, yeah, they've got some rubber seals right on the inside of those.
There's no such thing, is there?
Was the acid used a monkey?
There's a turnout in here that'll answer your question.
They're stainless, yeah.
Yeah, they're all stainless steel.
Oh, well, even stainless will rust,
Not worth it,
give enough acid on it.
And this is the upstream side where he's actually gonna rewater it through here and it'll come out of that box. The reason for the box was to only cross with one pipe over our drain. So we tied both turnouts into that one box.
That's right there, is it?
And that's over on his ditch.
That's big fun.
And then we did Shot Creek 50 feet upstream from the cut and 50 feet downstream from there. The Shot Creek. That's his turnout. Franklin Canal Grandview checks, this is over by Jay's house. And then the Hornell checks. Right here, I think we had about maybe, what, 4 feet of bank rubber or 4 feet of channel? You can see how much dirt we're taking out. This is right there by Despino.
Like two?
About 2 feet, well, you can see it right there.
Golly.
And what we've done is we made it deeper and we narrowed the channel. You can see how much we're narrowing it there.
I was making fun of Pete, and now I hope the water comes up high enough to get to the turnout.
And you can see we narrowed it almost by 6 feet on each side.
It's amazing how all that work catches up to you. I mean, it keeps coming.
Yes.
Now, look at that.
Franklin Canal below the each checks.
Golly.
And here we had to haul most of it out because most of it was sand. I had a few of these automatic gates were set right there right below Socorro Road, where we had been having some trouble. That's the head of the I-57. That gate was built in-house by our welder. See, he did a pretty good job. Caesar went in there and put all the hardware on there, so we're ready for hell.
Yeah, we're supposed to meet this afternoon on all the gates.
That's the downstream side there, that's completed pretty much. Then the railroad again, I'll go through these pretty fast.
Is that same tree?
That's still true, and again, these are just different sites throughout the Clint and the Green Arrow. This is right there by Mr. Kevin Ivy's, that's that box that I told you I had to build in order to get the water to his ditch. We had to go in there and build a new check structure also. See his ditch back over here, you can see it over by the head home.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like after we were done. Of course, we did put a manhole cover over the top of it so nobody will fall in. There it is with water in operation. So we've actually used it already.
That's his water, okay?
Yeah, that's all. Well water.
You read my mind.
They're all well water.
You can tell by how clear it was.
I don't know what you were gonna come up with.
Well water. It's all about Francis, but you can see some of those, the steep on those floors.
Yeah.
You know, in case you guys are wondering why we're having to go through so much lumber, because once we cut a plywood to that angle, it's real hard to match it somewhere
Sure,
else.
you're not gonna match it again.
That's what we try to do, destroy these, turnout. We're moving around, along pretty smoothly. I think, we should be ready with everything, as soon as water's released. I guess I don't have a choice, right? We need to make sure we're ready.
Yeah. So you make sure the 16-inch high pressure gas lines are out of the way.
Yes. There's that turnout on Francis already installed.
It's been used already.
Well, has it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Old man, project guys, well,
We're going back to the same ones we've already seen there.
Yeah, we started mid-presentation.
All right.
Any questions or anything, or
Oh, good
suggestions,
work.
recommendations?
Good work.
Good job, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, super job, that was a huge
Yeah,
project,
great,
guys.
great.
Thank you all.
Plus the other ones you did.
All right. All right, 4 foot, what you got?
Trouble. 4 foot, 3 foot.
Thank you, sir.
Sweet, great.
Stand and walk away, thank you, chief.
To start off with, I guess one of the biggest problems right now, return flow, is people using our canals and pumping the canals. Of course, you know, you thank God for the district policy, but they're still fighting out there, but like I tell them, you know, they feel that once they notify me, it's a lifetime agreement, that they can use it anytime they want to, and I tell them they can't do it. And we've had a couple of problems that we resolved them. I think once in a while they call Larry and but you know the crazy thing about it, every year they know this problem's gonna occur. But the one person will wait for the other person, and they both want to use at the same time. But we got into that part, and so far it's gone so pretty good on the wells. And then as the return flow, like I'm gonna tell you guys, the return flow has been very positive this year compared to last year. And I'll give you a good indication. Last year, we had watered up to, right now, 10,000 acres. We had delivered 285 deliveries last year up to this today. As of today, this year, we got 7,000 acres and we only delivered 154 deliveries, 131 less. And then, like I tell you, and everybody seems to be very upset, but say, guys, it is what it is. I don't have the water. Like this morning, during the night, return flow will go up to 100 CFS. Right now, we got 65. It goes up. And this year, for some reason, it's going up and down a lot more than it has in the past. And Sundays, we just lose it completely.
That's not it. What's
Yeah,
going on?
it's just crazy, you know, and all it is just, you know, basically the sewer water, and that's what's happening to it.
Yeah, but I mean, you think it'd be fairly consistent from
When
when
your
you're.
people are thinking of conserving water and they take a lot of showers, now, I don't know. Get it, flush it extra.
Wow.
But it's still moving pretty good, and I think what really didn't help us is, you know, as you all recall, February, we didn't have the water from the American Canal, so we lost that water. And so we didn't deliver February like we normally do, but I looked at March, and overall, we only delivered like 600 acres less this year, this month, than compared to last year. So, you know, we're catching up. We still have a lot of acres. This morning, I looked at it, we still got 1,100 acres that people ordered for. But out of the 1,100 acres, 3,000 are people waiting for the second 2 inches, if it's available. So out of that, it's 8,000 acres left to cover return flow. And everybody's very excited, can I get my water, can I get my water? I think we can. Last year in April and May, we covered 13,000 acres. You see, I think once we get out of this cotton ground, and this is the same thing I told you last year, once we get off the cotton ground, and cotton ground will end this weekend, we'll go into the pecans and alfalfas, and those alfalfa, alfalfa, pecans almost cover 3 to 4 acres an hour. Cotton is covering 1 acre an hour. And then the way our water's
If you're
dropping,
lucky.
yeah, and then the way the water's dropping, sometimes the poor farmer doesn't move in 24 hours. He just doesn't cover what he wants to. So we know we gotta make an adjustment for that, but it's working. I know sometimes the farmers would get upset with it, but we said, Robert, we'll work with what we got. But thank God, they're coming to an end this weekend. It'll be the last weekend, and then I'll start picking up farmers. And then, again, we're gonna start picking up the Sanelli and come on down. Like the Sanelli's got like 300 acres, and there's like 30 people in there. In 3 or 4 days, we go in there, we can wipe them out. Below the Franklin, there is 30 people down there. And again, we put water in there, and we can wipe them out. A couple of people called me this morning and said, well, Robert, would I get my water? I said, you know, guys, just look at your neighbor. Once you see neighbors start getting the water, you know we're in that area. A lot of times, I can go into the neighborhood and start picking up 1 or 2, but the one I don't pick up gets upset. Right now, I'm baby with cotton. I was below the island feeder. I picked up Vijagua, and I picked up Ramon, and I picked up Bosque. I could have picked up more acres down there, but if I pick up 1, then the other 25 is like playing with a bear. So, but like I told Cook and a couple of guys this morning, give me about another week, I'll be there, and then we continue. But I think it's going to start moving a little bit faster after this. And on the kind of word to on the cotton, I kept a record of the cotton ground from the very beginning. We came up with 8,000 acres. As of today, we watered 55. And we got about another 1,000, out of the 1,500 is already watered. We got another 500 to get out this weekend. I think when it's all over and done with, we'll cover about 6,000. Out of the 2,000 that we watered is just the farmer over-ordered, and that crew didn't have the water. You know, a lot of farmers, they order 100% of their land, and then they eventually find out they need water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Robert, you know, well, we say this every time, they're watching you.
Well, they're
And
watching.
they're watching me, and I get calls every day too.
I know.
You gotta do it as straight as you can, so there's no.
The biggest ones I got is when a guy orders 100 acres and he's got 100 acres in the turnout, I see no problem. The ones that really give me a hard time is the guy that orders 250 and I know he's got 500 acres.
Yeah.
So I either send Cassie or myself go out there and GPS it, we'll narrow it down.
Just
But-
keep trash of it.
But then, again, here's where he don't like it, then I put him on the clock. I said, okay, you wanna play this game? I wanna do this to you. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna put you in the clock. Now, you have 10 days to water, whatever you wanna do there. Well, that's not fair. He said, well, guys, I can't be playing games with you. You either gotta do one of the two things. You be fair with me and I'll be fair with you, but you start playing tricks and I gotta be. And they don't like it. I've cut off a couple of farmers that didn't like it.
I've heard of one of them, but I give you kudos because you've been doing pretty good. Tony, you know, my neighbor keeps calling me and I keep telling, well, Robert told you the same thing he told me. You forget about it, Tony. We'll catch you next time, right? We're still gonna get caught next time. And the other thing, you know, you're right about the flows. I went over there, I saw Pete Sariana over there metering. I just was curious. 7.1 CFS for cotton ground. And a dish that normally carries 15.
And 7 doesn't do you no good, Art.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, no wonder it took, because I was counting the days. Had to be a neighbor of mine. And it was like 12 days to order 200 acres or something. I didn't understand it until I saw those flows, and you can't get it done.
And a lot of people, I'm not gonna go into names, but a lot of people say, well, he wasn't watering too long. Well, you know, and I tell the farmer, don't go into a high turnout, go into a low turnout where you can suck out water. But they go into a high turnout, and then they go to a 5 CFS, well, I'm calculating everything on 10 CFS. And if he goes to 5, well, you know, he's just gonna have to take a little bit longer. and then the water drops, they go from 5 to 3.
So for three, you don't.
And so that's, you know, and I can tell everybody, and it's very depressing for me not to cover the land that we like to cover, because we've done great the past 2 years. This year, it's just not there. I wish we, and then we got Chewy and Al wanting to take the water out of American now for that rebar. When do we do it? When we do that, we're gonna kill the return flow.
24 hours, right?
And well, not only that, Monster, you gotta remember that Bustamante will be given the parks water 1st of May. They're gonna be taking another hit. So they're gonna be taking like 7 CFS.
Yeah.
So that's another factor we gotta go, right? When we go into May, it's gonna get worse, but we're gonna get everybody once. And like I told everybody at the very beginning, the water very full of people, don't expect the water from us. Be lucky if you get one.
Okay.
This year, I come up on a guy, he got 300 acres, said, my friend, be lucky you're gonna water 100 from us. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's all they did.
Right.
So that's where it's going. One more thing I wanted to ask, on the small tracks, like we got the 5, but the schedule that Cassie, Chewy, and everybody put together, it's got room in just in case at the end that I'm for 7, okay?
I'm paying attention.
I'm there.
I don't forget.
I'm there too, you see, I'm a small
What did he
track.
say?
We're gonna guaranteed 7.
No, not guaranteed. The schedule's based, it's there for 7. It's geared up there's water at the end, it's geared up for 6, but like Chewy says, get 7, but there'll be 7.
That's great.
You know, and it just depends how the year goes by and how. But
No,
I
just
think-
be ready. That's all I can ask.
I think,
Just be
but,
ready.
you know, and on the biggest curve that threw us yesterday is, we're trying to get 100 to 120 days out of our water that we got. EPCWID wants to use it all in 50 days. It's amazing how they wanna use the water. And I'm gonna get down with James, and, you know, it helps us to develop some kind of a budget ourselves and see what it can do, and then work it from there.
Okay.
And then, I think it worked good. I think the water, I don't know how else it worked out a budget, but I feel that it's gonna be very durable. Maybe we won't have to use as much of the wells, and don't know what's gonna be actually happening until the water user starts asking for water.
Right.
And then another thing this year is we're gonna be having 6 new ditch riders out there, so that's gonna be another little scary part. So 6 new guys out there, I have one of my junior ditch riders, because I've been training them, I'm getting them 1 time a week, each one come in and said, Robert, I think you're messing up by giving this guy only 1 week. He said, you think I'm crazy enough to just go out there and teach you guys 1 week? I think even a year is not enough time, but I gotta get them familiar with, you know, running the truck, you know, water order, dealing with the farmers, and a little bit of water, because when we do start in June, I think we're gonna have more water than we ever had in the past, so it's gonna be
Good deal.
really great. That's it for me, guys.
Thanks, Robert, Jim.
Robert, I just want to mention something on that ditch that we're having a lot of problems with. I think we as a board need to set a policy on the time that a guy can go in there and pump, because that problem ain't gonna go away.
No, it's
And
not.
I don't feel it's right that I have to turn around and call you and kind of leave you with the burden of that deal right there. I was just talking to a couple of people down on that I-341, and we were thinking of and this is just the thing that we just kind of thought about. Like, if normally it takes a guy, it's just the rough numbers I'm using, that if it takes a guy 50 hours to irrigate through the district, he's got 100 hours to do it with his well, double time. We got to put some deposit, because that problem is, I pump out of there, a lot of people are pumping in it and using it, and if it goes like it did last time, I don't, you know, it's gonna take there's guys that can pump fast in there, there's guys that can't, but I think we should all have equal share of
I agree with you
equal
there.
time or something, because it's gonna cause a fist fight.
A lot of it there.
And it's coming, because it's gotten close to that point.
If they would plan by, calling me and said, Robert, I wanna use the 341 and by so-and-so date, letting everybody, knowing when they wanna use it, it would work, but they don't do that. A lot of times they assume that now they can go in there and use it anytime they want to. Scott's about the only one, and Greg was real bad about not calling. Now he's really very good
Yeah,
about
okay, so
calling.
let's say we do call. Let's say we do call.
And
I call, Scott calls, when we pump it through it, when we call, but still at that, there's gonna be times when the guy's gonna pump in, and he's got such slow capacity that you're needing the water, so I think we've gotta set something in place, just to avoid a future problem.
or maybe just, like I've been telling Dylan now, Larry, says, okay, once you notify me you're gonna use it, you got 5 days. Providing there's nobody else wants to use it.
Yeah, providing there's
Okay,
nobody
if
else.
somebody else wants to use it, you got 5 days and you gotta come out.
Okay, but, I mean, you're just gonna go on a day basis deal, or how are we gonna set it? Because I'm gonna be asked this question.
See,
I wrote the board passed the policy, and we wrote it, prepared on it, and the way that it addresses it is that it says that you guys, we punted, right? Robert, we said, if you guys can't come
Work it
to
out,
an
then-
agreement, then nobody can use it.
Yeah, I think that's what we
That's
said.
what it says.
So I was gonna suggest that maybe Robert needs to be a little proactive.
Well,
Get with
he-
Larry and get
if he's
these-
willing to be, but
Yeah.
I agree with Larry, we need to write policy.
No,
We need to write a policy.
We
because-
have a policy, it says that, it sounds like they're fighting, it means that you don't
Okay.
allow anybody to use it.
So,
Yeah.
we just have to
Right.
fine tune it, that's all we have to do.
Yeah, that's what I.
That's what I want, you know.
We
And
already
I
had
mean,
that.
I have some language, we already have this option in it, and you guys
Yeah.
didn't wanna do that?
And I don't hear Robert saying he wants to pull that. That's the
No.
nuclear option, you know?
No, well,
What about proactive and calling the specific?
not so that they can't use it because.
no, I understand that,
If
but that's
there's
a
3 or
policy
4
right now.
farmers involved, why don't you politely let through Robert, say, hey, look
Yeah,
here,
but
meet
you
in my
have other
office.
problems, Robert. You have other problems otherwhere. I mean, because I think it's a deal that, I feel bad here. I feel bad when I've got a guy calling me, one guy doesn't talk to me, and you know, well, that's
Yeah.
our personal issues, right?
Yeah,
It's personal issues.
but now you're getting.
But now it's getting to where it's gonna grow to a bigger problem. And I figure we ought to do something
Why
that,
don't we just go ahead and look at the language we had that addresses, which would just do a pro rata share for a time, so he's got guidance. And I'll work with Robert to get that language right, and then you can give it to him, and then there's no argument over
Okay.
what the deal
exactly,
is.
that sounds good.
Okay.
And then
It's just a couple more
the next thing, Larry,
Okay.
is I gotta make sure that when the guy gets through, I gotta lock the turnout. Because if I leave them open, they think it's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something. I did it to Gardner Valley.
You know, because I've always taken the courtesy to call you. Anytime I'm gonna use a ditch and the people around, I think it's called. But I mean, we gotta set something.
We'll get,
They pick up the wheel enough to where they can turn.
Yeah.
So what I did to a farmer in the Upper Valley, he kept doing that to me. I went and opened up another turn and locked it open.
They deny
So when
you.
next time you try water, and his neighbor would get his water.
You know, walk it
He
along.
didn't like it. But I took care of his.
well, get with Al, figure it out, so you need more guidance, or try and have that informal meeting, but if we got multiple issues of this.
No, it's
Al's
like-
right, we
it's
need
like-
to tweak it.
Well, let me be clear, the policy, I think, is fairly clear on this. What he's supposed to do is that if there's a dispute, which there clearly is, he's supposed to stop allowing
Okay.
anybody to have access.
But like he said,
They
he'd
can't-
rather not do that.
I know, I'm just saying, the policy
Okay.
says that's what he's
Okay.
supposed to do.
You wanna leave that policy then in
It
place?
is, you guys left it, it's up to you to change
Well,
it.
to me, that's fine. And that's the only reason I suggested that possibly,
No, I agree, that's what we're saying, we're saying what the motion,
adjust
I don't know if it needs to be a motion, the direction to the manager and to me and Robert is to try to come up with
What do you think, Larry?
a proposed change to that policy.
What would happen if I just shut both of them down?
No, but contingent to the
You wouldn't be
minute,
living long, Robert.
is there another time to,
No,
Mr.
we can work it out, but I think if we put something like, what,
Pro rata.
Pro rata.
averages or something.
would be perfect for me that way, and then we call you, Robert, set schedules, because this problem's not gonna go away.
Just says, well, it says you have the option, you don't, it's not forced, it's up to Chewy.
Yeah,
Is there-
and you don't wanna do that to anybody
No.
that's needing water in their
no,
truck.
but if we have. yeah.
Well, no, I think the idea was, we debated it a lot, we had some other language along your line, we decided it was too complicated, so we didn't adopt that language. The idea was, look, they left it up to you, And they said if they can't get along, then you have the option to deny anybody using that ditch. It's just to say, you know,
So there's 5 there, isn't there?
5 of us, yeah.
so that means that there's probably, to get 5 people to agree to anything's pretty hard.
Well, you might be able to, because he has the hammer that he can
So
say,
what are you saying?
oh, we're shutting everybody
Us
else.
to,
To work it out the dates. Well, I'd like to get coordinated with Robert, that way
Whatever Robert hates.
he knows, you know.
yeah, because I feel bad, you know, here they're calling me and cussing each other out, and I'm
In the middle.
in the middle, and I don't think it's fair that I call, hey, Robert, this is going on. I don't feel right. I feel that we gotta, no, I do, because I don't think it's right, you know, I think we should put something in place that, and like, pro rata, if he says.
That's already in the policy, it says when 2 or more landowners, they need to coordinate amongst each other, including any water measurement requirement and location of diversion points.
We had talked about that they would meter what they're pumping in and what they're taking out, so it would be fair to both of them.
But they don't like that.
If they've got dual functions.
So you're really not changing policy, you're just clarifying policy.
But, you know, we've gotten to the point where they say, well, my well is better than his.
And
Well, yeah.
quality issues.
What they're talking about is joint pumping, that's a different policy. What
Yeah.
you're talking about is just individual
usage.
timeshare.
Timeshare,
And
yeah.
I agree, the joint pumping's never worked with
No.
anybody. So we'll have to do the timeshare
The
approach.
timeshare.
And limit the days that they can.
Right, and we can draft one, we had 1 or 2 sentences, what the board said at the time, my recollection was that, hey, it was sort of complicated. It always is.
It is.
And they said, well, look, this really isn't gonna apply in many cases, you're not gonna have that much of a problem, let's wait and see. And right now, it just gave that one option to the general managers, that if they can't get along, then nobody gets the ball. So you can't play
It's like
nice.
dealing with your children.
Pretty much.
When something like that happens, I notify Chewy because no more, they can't get up with me, they'll call Chewy and at least he's not blindside like me out there.
So anyway, but if you want, what we'll do is we'll bring that old language back that is on our program, and you guys can look at it. That would give more guidance, so Robert could have something to give.
Okay, whatever it takes. Get it.
Now, what about the farmers meeting, can that be brought up, clarified, is there enough time to do it at the farmers meeting, we could have a meeting here pretty soon?
Or maybe we just gotta take it
Yeah,
in
we'll
here,
do it.
because it's just I think it's just several incidents.
Yeah, that's not.
It's got 2 weeks. That
We
might
can
be-
draw it up and then we'll go visit with each one.
It's sort of like the Hatfield and McCoy.
I was gonna say that,
Yeah.
I'm learning.
You the Hatfield or the McCoy?
I ain't going there.
He's neither of them. He's the Joneses, he's stuck in the middle.
He's considered the honey bear.
The honey bear guy.
Okay.
Robert, are you through?
I'm finished.
Thank you. We have a few subdivision plats. We want to move to that, then we go to close. Sure. All right. Number 11, Jay?
Number 11 is application 1711 for Socorro Palms subdivision at Vineyard Road and Socorro Road, that corner, in front of the Tiguas. The application on behalf of Socorro Palms Ltd. And it's 10.21 acres, and they have submitted the irrigable land exhibit and included the easements required to allow all the lots within the subdivision to be irrigated and the acreage all adds up, so engineering, is recommending this.
Recommend approval. I hear a motion?
Well, the applicant is Socorro Palms Limited,
LTD.
limited partnership with the
Limited partnership. I hear a motion.
Tropicana.
Well,
They're Tropicana maybe.
no, they're
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 a subsidiary of Tropicana Homes Inc.
Subsidiary, yeah.
Whatever Tropicana Homes is.
Socorro, the entity owning the subdivision, Socorro Palms Ltd.
Yeah, it's right out here.
Yes.
One right out over here. Okay. Mike, you want to swear?
Am I?
Yes.
Wait a minute, let's see. No, we still have a form.
Oh, that's right.
Mike, do you want to leave on that one?
Yeah, I wanna leave on everything.
All right, on this, on the
I'm stepping
application?
out, I'm not staying, I'm stepping out.
Yeah. I understand. Okay. All right, do I hear a motion? Larry makes the motion. In our second. All right, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Alright.
Against, no. Okay. Next, Jay.
Application 1638 on behalf of El Paso Electric Company has been presented to the board in November and approved by the board. As the resolution states, after 60 days and no
You didn't
activity,
get it done.
it's essentially, yes, it's null and void. So bringing it back, we've received the license and payment on behalf of El Paso Electric to execute this one-year license. So I'm bringing it back to the board for, I guess, procedural purposes.
Okay. I hear a motion for that approval.
Second.
All right, been moved and seconded by Indar and then Larry, that that application be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, no. Next,
Application 1724 on behalf of El Paso Water Utilities Public Service Board is to construct an 8-inch PVC sewer line on the left bank of the Mesa Drainage Canal to connect a few homes. There is currently a 24-inch sewer line, main sewer line running within the left bank of the Mesa Drain in this vicinity. So they're gonna do a service connection, and they've submitted the required documentation, and engineering recommends this for approval.
all right, is 1725 sufficiently close to that?
It's
we can